All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Insidious Hooligans YouTube channel. I am Shadow. This is long overdue. War on the Sea. On here, I'm going to be playing as the U.S. Navy, and on my own personal channel, I'll be playing a playthrough as the IJN. Uh, War on the Sea is a real-time strategy game where you play as either the US or as Japan during the Guadalcanal campaign for both nations. You have command over air units for reconnaissance, bombing, torpedo strikes, etc., as well as naval units ranging from battleships to destroyers, so light cruisers, heavy cruisers, and even submarines. And there is anti-submarine warfare, as you can see here. That is a probably a Gato class. I don't know. All the U.S. submarines look the same. All the Japanese U.S. Submarines look the same. There's two Japanese subs, B1s, B2s, and then there's I think four U.S. subs as of now in version 1.08 D6 the game. You have a tactical map where you can move your units around, and then you actually get to battle on the ship, on the seas, on the ships, on the seas with your ships. I don't know a whole lot about this time period, about naval history in general, really, when it comes to both Japan and the U.S. So I don't know ship names off the top of my head just by looking at them. There is an identification uh, thing in game, and that does help you with your firing solutions when it comes time to using that. Um, I am, however, I wouldn't say well versed, but I know a decent enough amount about decent English is hard, you know? A decent enough no, I have a decent amount of knowledge when it comes to formations and tactics and like how to actually play out a battle and all that stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the campaign. As you can see, we have Operation Watchtower and the Battle of Guadalcanal. Battle of Guadalcanal is as Japan, you're trying to defend it. Operation Watchtower as allies, U.S. and Great Britain, because you can have, I think there's three British ships you can use. Um, you're trying to take Guadalcanal. We will do some light reading at the beginning of this, just to kind of set the stage. Prelude. Since 1937, Japan and China have been engaged in a protracted conflict in the Second Sino-Japanese War. America, along with their other Western nations, including Britain and Australia, embargoed the sale of oil, steel, and iron to Japan in an attempt to stem further expansions. Japan plans occupation of the Dutch East Indies and Malaya as alternate sources of natural resources, and on December 7th, 1941, launches a multi-pronged offensive attack throughout the Pacific, including the attack on Pearl Harbor, a day that will live in infamy, and actually brought the US into the Second World War. If you didn't already know that. The goal is to quickly secure Japanese interests, set up a defensive perimeter, and then negotiate peace with America from this position of strength. The 7th of December 1941, as part of the numerous offensives launched, uh, aircraft from six Japanese fleet carriers attack Pearl Harbor and cripple U.S. Pacific Fleet. The surprise attack finally draws America into the Second World War. I really shouldn't have said anything because I was going to tell you anyways. The 4th to the 8th of May 1942, the Battle of the Coral Sea. In order to expand the southern perimeter of the Japanese Empire, Japan undertakes Operation Mo, the invasion of Moresby in New Guinea, as well as Tulagi in the Solomon Islands. The ensuing naval battle, the first carried out by carrier aircraft only, ultimately turns back the Port Moresby invasion. A light carrier, a destroyer, and several smaller vessels were lost by the Japanese. Allied forces suffer significant losses with the sinking of the fleet carrier Lexington, a destroyer, and an oiler. Yorktown and the other U.S. fleet carrier participating is badly damaged and hastily returns to Hawaii for repairs. You'll actually see that reflected in the game, where if you go to make a carrier group and select Yorktown as your named class of the carrier group, it'll have a U next to it, meaning it is unavailable. 4th to the 7th of June, 1942, Japan turns its attention to the U.S. base in Midway in a plan to lure the Americans into a decisive naval battle. The massive strike force contains four fleet carriers along with numerous battleships and cruisers. enough to overpower any opposition. Yeah, Allied code-breakers have discerned the plan. Sending 3 fleet carriers to lie in wait for the approaching enemy. Stunning victory for the Allies. All 4 Japanese fleet carriers: Akagi, Kaga, Suryu, Hiryu. I don't know Japanese words, so I'm gonna butcher some names real fast, real and frequently. Are sunk along with heavy cruiser Mikumi, heavy cruiser Mikuma, for the loss of the fleet carrier Yorktown and the destroyer Haman. Going into this, by the way, this first episode, and I think every 10th episode will be roughly 45 minutes to an hour long, just so we can get some nice action going and some nice storytelling. This one's definitely gonna be longer because there's some storytelling that goes into the beginning of it, and as well as finding our footing in the game. I have about 24 hours into the game. I'm not new to it, but I'm still new enough to not be an expert or a veteran. And the game's forever changing. It's relatively new and it's constantly being updated. 7th of August 1942, the Battle of Midway last month has significantly weakened Japan's carrier strength in the Pacific and allowed for allies to go on the offensive. Jeez, I can't speak English, I swear to God. One initial goal is to secure the Southern Solomon Islands in a plan codenamed Operation Watchtower. Ironically, what we are playing. Or I guess it's not ironically, literally what we're playing. Priority for the operation intensifies as Japanese troops begin construction of an airfield on the island of Guadalcanal. Such an airfield will allow long-range bombers to attack the supply lines between America and Australia, as well as provide air cover for Japanese naval forces pushing further south. Japanese supply ships carrying construction materials for the airfield continue to arrive while the Allies make preparations to seize Guadalcanal. This takes us to the campaign summary. We can bring this up anytime during the campaign just by clicking, if I remember correctly, this little icon down here, and it'll show you everything we need to know. This essentially just reiterates what we just read. There's, intelligence reports indicate that enemy troops have landed on Guadalcanal and began construction of an airfield. Using New Hebrides as a forward base, or New Hebrides is down here. My bad. Your orders are to take Guadalcanal, build a major airfield there, and then clear the neighboring islands, any hostile forces. You can take Guadalcanal and this island, whose name I can't remember, as well as the Florida Islands and some other ones. And I think my plan is going to be capture everything. We're going full domination here. And it doesn't have to be fully built up. I'm just saying, capture. I want to see a blue star on every fucking island. Okay? Okay. And right away, since I haven't played this game in a while, I can see some new additions to the map here we'll take a look at in just a second. We must build a rank 5 airfield on Guadalcanal. That'll take a while, trust me. Take control of Guadalcanal and the Florida Islands, which I'm pretty sure are both of these, and maintain control of Port Moresby, Milne Bay, Rennell Islands, which are these ones, Santa Cruz Islands, which I think is this or this, and Maleta, which is I think right down here. Throughout this, we can go through here and we can see all the locations that are on the map and what airfield and port level they are, as well as troops, supplies, engineering, and fuel they have on those islands. Hebrides is our main base down here. We have a 5 and a 5 for a port and an airfield. 10,000 troops, 20,000 supplies, 200 engineering, 200 fuel. Those resupply every, I think it's 2 weeks or every month, something along those lines. But they do regenerate. As you can tell, we don't have any intel on the Japanese as to how many troops, supplies, or engineering or fuel they have on any of their locations that they own. When it comes to sea, it'll tell us our active groups and what we have in them. When it comes to repair, it'll tell us who's repairing and how long it'll take to repair. Losses, this will tell us how much we have lost, and enemy losses will tell us how much they have lost, and it'll give you each class that they've lost as well. And when we get into identifying ships and sinking ships, you'll be able to, I'll show you a little more in depth. You can actually see exactly what ships have been sunk and can never be used again. Ships don't respawn. When they're gone, they're gone. So, as Japan, it's a more defensive play, and you have to be really careful about the battles you choose. As the US, we can go a little more full tilt, a little more full bore, and, just kind of have at it. Here's Rennell, Maladia, and Florida. Okay. And Santa Cruz. So we need to capture Guadalcanal and the Florida Islands. We need to capture both of these and maintain control of these three on top of that, as well as, the three that we already have. New Hebrides is our main base, and Rabal is the Japanese main base. Of course, clicking on it, we can see the levels that they have, but we can't see any more intel than that. We can't see how many supplies, engineering, and fuel they have. Same with Guadalcanal, because we have no intel on it. What we want to do is play very, very aggressively. I mean, very aggressively. I'm not quite saying suicidal, where we go and just see, oh, there's a surface fleet, send our surface fleet, punch them in the face. Because we'll lose ships that way, and we can't afford to lose too many ships. So, what we're going to do, actually, really quick, what I'm going to try and see if I can't discern what these circles mean. I think this outer circle is detection range of radar, if that makes sense. So, if we were to bring a ship to here, they'll probably launch a plane to try and intercept it and bomb it and kill it. If we get it close enough to here, this inner circle, I don't know. I'm assuming that's like visual range. But again, I don't know. I haven't played this game in a while. First things first, we need ships. Now, each ship has to be named differently. Also, I don't like that that's doing that. That's really annoying. Anyways, each ship has to be named. So if we get a Tambor class, we can't get a second Tambor because Tambor's already in service. We have to get Tautog or Railing or whatever. They have a cost, and they cost command points. So one submarine costs 4 command points. We have 250 to spend. Japan also has 250 command points to spend. We can filter this by region or by nation, or just leave it on all. Or all of them. We can filter the ship type. Well, all submarine, destroyer, light cruiser, heavy cruiser, battleship, carrier, oiler, cargo, I think. Yes. Okay. Remember my classifications. Okay, and we only have 2 submarines available to us. But of those 2 types of submarine. Of those 2, there's 77 Gattos and 12 Tambors. I'm not even going to bother with Tambors right now. We want Gattos because their test depth is, what is that, 24 meters deeper, 14 meters deeper than the Tambor. We use the keyboard shortcuts. Oh, that was the wrong one. Oh, it's not going to let me do it. Okay, never mind. Never mind, that's okay. Yeah, 76 versus 90 meters. You can go in here and see their weapons. They have 24 torpedoes on board, both of them. They're identical in the end, except for the Gatto has a dual purpose main gun, a 5-inch gun on its deck. So if we're surfaced and an aircraft comes at us, we have our anti-aircraft gun that's already on there, and we can shoot a 5-inch high explosive shell at it. You can see its anti-aircraft cones, as well as the sensors it has. Visual horizon, we can see up to 8 kilometers. Visibility detection for us is 67%. Radar detection for us is 20% because we're a nice small vessel. It's usually submerged. Our surface radar can go 18 kilometers, and our air radar can go 40. We create 135 decibels. Our active detection is 100%. If we go active, we'll hear something. Passive is 34 kilometers. Active sonar is within 2 kilometers. And then there's no armor on it because it's a submarine. We're not going to look at all these stats for every single one. The main one I'm looking for is dual purpose and number of torpedoes in the end. These things also have, I think, 6 bow tubes and 4 stern tubes, if I'm remembering correctly, but I'm not sure. So let's start recruiting ships. Now, I could recruit 10 submarines all into the same group, and that would be in the same group. I don't want to do that. I want to keep my submarines independent of each other. So we're going to recruit 1, close this out, grab the new Hebrides, new sea, make sure we grab a different name, recruit it, done, course, and just send them on their merry way. We're going to grab 5 of these. Because, alright, yep, it didn't change the name. See, it even gives you a pop-up. because I like my submarines. Submarines are very, very useful when it comes to attacking Japan. And we're going to send 2 up in the slot here. Grab our 5th, the Grunion, done course, send them up into the slot. We'll have 2 come around the south, 2 up into what is known as the slot, and 1 going up north to try and cover off any Japanese fleets going to come in from the north. We'll have 1 primarily patrol around the Florida and Guadalcanal, around the islands of the Florida Islands and Guadalcanal. We'll probably send 1 up further up in the slot to try and patrol this gap here. Actually, probably a little further back. We'll have 1 patrolling this gap, another 1 patrolling this gap. They're not going out to scout. They're really just stop gaps to try and find shipping as soon as possible. If audio is a little quiet, I'll adjust it for later episodes. Or even later on if I look up and I just notice it's way too quiet. But for now, I might just do it post-process editing. Those are our submarine fleets. Now, we probably really want to grab a cargo fleet. So what we want to do for a cargo fleet, what I like to do for a cargo fleet, is 2 light cruisers, 2 destroyers, and then the cargo fleet. We can have up to, I think, 10 ships in a whatchamacallit? That's a battle group, a service group, and you'll see the submarines are named as what they are. But when we do this, let's see here. Let's grab. We want Farragut's. Farragut's have 5-inch guns. They're dual purpose. They carry 8 torpedoes and they have depth charges. Farragut's are good. We'll go with Farragut's. They're also really cheap, considering the next options that have dual purpose actually has better torpedoes. Never mind. We're gonna go with Mahans or even Gridleys. Might go for Gridleys. Gridleys have 16. Mahans have 12. The Gridleys would be good for both surface engagements and anti-submarine warfare, because they get depth charges as well, right? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go for 2 Gridleys. Gridley and a Craven. And then for light cruisers, I might just go straight up Brooklyns. Brooklyns are good, but at the same time, Atlantas are nice too. Atlantas have dual purpose. Brooklyns do not. That's for main guns. Atlanta doesn't have any secondary guns. The Brooklyn does, though, and they're dual purpose. Atlanta has 5-inch guns, 5-inch main guns, as well as torpedoes and depth charges, unlike the Brooklyn. So we can have 4 ships that are capable of anti-submarine warfare. We're going to go down here. We're going to grab merchants. We're going to grab 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we go Oilers, we can only have 8. Okay, so we're going to grab these 2. We're going to remove them. We're going to grab 2 Oilers. Cool. So now what we need to think about doing is how we want these ships to be set up when it comes to their formation in the actual sea. So there's line ahead, line abreast, 2 column, left, right, 3 column, and circular. Line ahead, as you can see, they're just in a straight line. Line abreast, they alternate left and right until they're full. 2 column left and 2 column right, it just organizes them differently. It's the same formation, different organization. 3 column, oh, my bad. 3 column, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then circular is what you primarily end up doing for a carrier group. At least what I end up doing for a carrier group. And when we get battleships, I'm gonna go 2 column right. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it makes sense to we'll have 2 destroyers followed by 2 light cruisers, 2 cargo, and then the Oilers will be in the very rear. So now that that's done, we can change their spacing, and it doesn't visually show it, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure this is spacing. I'm almost positive this is like 750 meter spacing. And spacing is good when it comes to a surface fleet, at least for a cargo fleet, because it means they can they have a more or a higher chance of avoiding a torpedo hit, direct torpedo hit. All that done, we can manage cargo. We can select. There we go. So on every single ship, we're going to put troops. On the first cargo ship, we're going to put troops. On the second, we're going to put supplies. And then engineering on the last two. And on both oilers, we're going to put engineering. Now, or fuel. Now, when this cargo group makes landfall and delivers its cargo, these two oilers are going to get returned for what they cost, 15. And they're going to get replaced with cargo ships to just send over more troops and more supplies. How the unfortunate thing though is I don't know if I want to go straight for Guadalcanal, try and take it over, or if I want to go for Runnel Island and try and get an airbase there. I think we might, yeah. Let's do, we'll go straight for Guadalcanal. You know, all aggressive. That is our cargo fleet, and I can't mouse over it because everything's all stacked up on top of each other, and it's impossible to single stuff out. Now we need our proper surface fleet. For that, we're going to go DDs. We're going to grab some Sommers. Sommers are really good. Dual-purpose guns. Oh, no, not dual-purpose guns. Interesting. We went on Sommers. Oh, there's Fletchers. Fletchers are expensive, though. We'll go for Sommers. We'll go for some Sommers. 6-second reload, depth charges for anti-submarine, as well as 8 torpedoes. We'll grab 2 Sommers, and we can't grab 2 ships named Sommers. So Sommers and a Warrington. We're going to go for light ships or light cruisers. Again, mostly looking at their weaponry. Brooklyns are great. Clevelands are great. Clevelands are a little more expensive, though. We might just go cheap and go for 2 Brooklyns. Brooklyn and a Philadelphia. And then we're going to go for some heavy cruisers and probably just grab 2 Pensacola's. At the same time, we could go for Great Britain for heavy cruisers and grab a County as anti-submarine. It costs 22. We go back to the US. Pensacola costs. So it. Oh yeah, I forgot. There are ships that you can't get until a certain date. So I don't know though. Do we want to go 10 8-inch guns or 9 8-inch guns? The same price, so you might as well go for the 1 extra gun, right? Dual purpose secondaries. But for Great Britain, same price, right? For the county class, there's 8 8-inch guns, 8 4-inch guns that are dual purpose, as well as depth charges for anti-submarine. We don't really need more anti-submarine, but I don't know. I kind of want to go. I want to go the Northampton, or no, not 2 Pensacola's. Grab a Pensacola and the Salt Lake City. These are the only Pensacola class ships we can have in game. If either of these are sunk, we cannot have any more Pensacola's. Period. End of story. Like, we can't get another one back. I just want to reiterate that. As you can see, again, 2-column right. So, DD side by side, light side by side, heavy side by side. Done. Set a course. Match the cargo fleet. That's it. That's all we're gonna do for right now. With that, officially start the game. Almost 30 minutes after I started recording. For max time dilation for now, just let everyone get spread out. While they're moving, we can go ahead and rename these. We're gonna call this Surface Fleet 1 because we're planning on having more. And we're going to grab Task Force 6, which is our cargo fleet. We're going to call it Cargo Fleet 1. Just so I can differentiate them just by mousing over them, because I don't know what Task Force 7 has. And when you get to the end, when you have 5 surface fleets, you're not going to know what's going to be in it. So like when we get a carrier fleet, it'll be a CV fleet. When we get a battleship fleet, it'll be surface fleet, whatever number it is, and it'll have a BB in there. So I know that that fleet has a battleship in it. And this is where the game kind of slows down a little bit. You got to wait for everything to move. But while everyone's moving, talk about our plans. We can, out of Port Moresby, launch Hellcats and Avengers. Out of Milne Bay, we can launch Hellcats because it's a level 1. This is a level 3, which gives you dive bombers. Out of New Hebrides, though, we can launch B-17s. It's a level 5. And those B-17s can just reach Guadalcanal. We can attack this small sliver of water just inside Guadalcanal with B-17s. If needed. They take a while to get there, but if need be, they can. There's also time restrictions when it comes to... That's why I paused the game on accident. There's also time restrictions when it comes to hours and the time of day that aircraft can operate at. And I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. But essentially, when this black bit is in the center, you can't use aircraft. I don't want to send fleets in just yet. We're going to send them just shy over here. And we're going to let our submarines get into position and do a little bit of reconnaissance for us. Speaking of reconnaissance, we can also go to... Oh, they moved it. It's over here. There's a select ship, launch aircraft, too dark. So between 1800 and 0500, so between 6 p.m. and 5 a.m., you cannot launch aircraft. But these ships all have scout aircraft that you can launch to go out and do scouting for you. They can be shot down, and when they are shot down, you lose them for good. Like, you have to go all the way back here and replenish your ships to get a new scout aircraft. It's really... You kind of don't want to lose them. But it's hilarious when you have... Pretty sure the Gatos can too. Yeah, so the submarines have planes as well. It's really fucking hilarious when you have like a bunch of fleets out and they all launch all of their scout aircraft. You just have the map covered in scout planes. They're just scouring for the enemy. But you can see just how different the speed is between everything. Submarines don't move that fast. Surface fleets move really fast, and the cargo fleet moves even slower. I might put a jump cut in here really quick. Let everything get into position. And we'll see y'all in just a second. So as you saw there was a English is hard. There was a pop-up saying that the air operations are now available, and unfortunately I paused the game, which is kind of annoying. Not super annoying, but kind of annoying. Now though we have a pop-up saying that there is an enemy aircraft near Growler, one of our submarines. Now we can ignore this because I know it's a scout plane. Just looking at it, these little float planes are scout planes. Can't do any damage to us. But if they live, they relay information back to, their ships. Tell us exactly where they are. They don't even have to land. They tell the ships where we are. So whenever I get an encounter with a plane, if I'm not in like a sticky situation, I'm just gonna click begin. And this will be our first encounter. So I'm gonna tell Growler to surface. And I'm not gonna tell him to e-boil. I'm just gonna tell him go right to the surface. You can see you even get an underwater view. It's such a gorgeous area. It's such a gorgeous game. It's done really well. There are a little bit of bugs and a little bit of a little weirdness that happens. Some of the textures aren't quite right every now and then. But that's a little submarine on the surface. So we don't know where this aircraft is. So I'm gonna turn on my radar. We're gonna see if we can find out where they are. There they are. So we're gonna target them. They're coming in from our right over here. We can even jump over to them. See, they're far enough away to where we can't quite. There's our little submarine. Our the YouTube compression might make that a little difficult, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn and rudder into them. Jump back over to the growler. Yep, they're opening up. Go ahead and hide the minimap. I'll even hide the UI. Just watch this unfold. And the main reason I allow the submarines to engage like this when it comes to scout planes is because you're not really going to use your main gun for a whole heck of a lot when it comes to trying to sink a service ship. You're mainly going to use your torpedoes, which, you know, makes sense in the end. We haven't landed a single hit, by the way, because all the service ships have guns of their own, even the cargo ships, and they will royally fuck up a submarine. So you never want to service your sub next to a ground ship or a surface ship. And now that he's going away, we can just press F9 and accelerate time. To retreat, we have to wait before we can leave. Go ahead and turn that radar off. Leave, confirm. One aircraft, nothing lost, no damage. Continue. Now we can go back to accelerating time, letting everything get into position. Grundon, or Grunion has encountered an aircraft. We are going to immediately tell them to, oh, they're already at the surface. Never mind. Go ahead and press semicolon, turn on our radar, immediately tell them to target the aircraft, jump over to them, and hide the minimap. We can accelerate time all the way up until bullets start flying. There's our little submarine over there. You can tell our submarine to slow down a little bit. Sea state is a thing as well as thermal layers and layer strength, as well as duct strength. Sea state's good. We want a higher sea state when we're doing our actual submarine operations, because it makes it harder for us to be detected by service fleets, and it's great. You can exceed your test depth, and you can always double check your test depth really quick right here. You can exceed it. Not very smart too. You can exceed it by about 10 meters. So these test depths down to 90, you can pretty safely go down to about 100. But any lower than that, and you risk never getting your submarine back. And it's not a fun way to go, and I don't want to do that to our boys. Again, we haven't landed any hits. I'm gonna accelerate time. He wants to fly right over us. Give us another chance to shoot at him. Fine by me. Get ready to leave. Every time a main gun fires, it stops time compression until the shell pops. That was a close one. That one's pretty close too. You're getting better. This is all practice and whatever. Unfortunately, a single flak round will not down an aircraft, which is fine. You can go ahead and tell them to ceasefire. We can accelerate after that shell pops. I told you to cease. Cease. Cease and desist. Okay, our gun's forward. 90 more seconds until we can leave. If I can do time compression. There you go. Clicked a little too early. It's fine. Alright. Onwards to the push towards Guadalcanal. Go max Oh. Our subs get it. Just gonna ignore it. If they want to scout out an actual service fleet, then go for it. More power to them. Be something to shoot at. We're gonna let the cargo fleet and the service fleet catch up together. As everyone approaches their final destinations, we are going to go ahead and give them their move orders for their scouting patrol. You see, it gets a little finicky, a little buggy every now and then. We're just gonna give them a decent amount to last for a little bit. That is Greenling done. I'm gonna send Gatto up this way. Very first submarine. Nothing too fancy, nothing too uber specific, but just enough to get general coverage of the general area. We're gonna definitely make Growlers search pattern a little more dense because this is an area that we really want to patrol. Grab Grunion up here and roll right across here for a little. And nothing too fancy. Grab Grouper. Then Grouper up this way. Gonna come in behind them, work its way back towards Guadalcanal through the slot. See if we can't pick anyone up. He's definitely gonna be moving slower. Yes, I could do this a lot more efficient. This is early stages. Doesn't matter too much. There. Position. Guys, because I'm tired and I just came home from work. And look at that. Growler has just found a service fleet. You could ignore it and let them move on. But no. Their first opportunity to attack and sink Japanese vessels. Tell it to go up scope. See if we can't identify where exactly this Japanese. Oh, there they are. I'll just speed up. Flank ahead. They're very close to the shore. We're gonna keep it down to 6 knots. They're far enough away to where we technically don't see them yet, quote unquote, with radar. But they should come into view here shortly. You can see the 2 heavies, 2 lights, and the 2 destroyers. Japan likes to do it kind of backwards to how I like to do it. Put their heavies out front, lights behind, and etc. etc. We have found our first ship. The heavy cruiser, and that looks like a Congo. We can go to the identification, go to Japan. No, it's a heavy cruiser. And we can go through the identification list. We're looking at, a tone, right. Key things we want to look for is mass placement, gun placement, and the 4 guns, the 2 backwards and the superimposed 2 forwards. Smokestacks, the way they're shaped and angled, as well as the number of them, as well as secondaries. You can see here, and the ass deck for the tone is really easy to distinguish from other ships. can also jump over to the ship and see it is a completely different one. In the Japanese Navy, they only have two tones, the tone and the Chikakuma. We don't know which one this is. We can't identify it to that extent, but we can tell our sub to target it, and we can classify it as a tone, and that'll increase our solution speed very quickly. We're also going to preset our torpedoes. We have 6 forward tubes. We're going to send 4 at a 1 degree spread because we want to maximize damage. And we're going to pre-turn, start turning us full right, as you can see down here, as well as slow her down just a little bit and give ourselves the absolute best firing solution because they are coming directly at us. They're currently 8,000, they're 8 kilometers away and closing fast. See our little itty bitty periscope. Let's check our sea state really quick. The sea state 5 with no layer. I don't know what the depth below keel is, but judging by the looks of things, we can go down a ways. We are going to go ahead and rudder amidships here by pressing Q. And go back into the periscope view here and just keep watching. We're also going to slow down to about 1 knot. We don't need to be closing up too fast. They'll come to us. Even time compress, get even closer to us. I'd love to get both of these heavy cruisers, but the tone, because I only have 2 of them, is a much juicier target. Constantly hear contacts popping up and falling off. We only have a 38-ish% solution, which isn't horrible, but it's also not great. It's slowly going up as they get closer, though. We're going to go ahead and turn off our radar because we have them visual. I'm going to go ahead and stop time compression now. Speed up again to about 4 knots. Yeah, they're still a decent ways off up there. About 5 kilometers, just under 5 kilometers. And we're going to send 4 torpedoes for the tone here, because we do have to worry about dud torpedoes and dud bombs, and that goes for both me and Japan. We also have to worry about friendly fire and ship collisions. That also goes for both me and Japan in my playthrough as Japan. That'll go for both the US and me as Japan. So that, again, will be on my channel. We'll probably be able to get this first engagement done and run, and I'll call the episode there and immediately record episode 2 right off the back of this one. For now, we're just lying in wait like a fucking submarine should. Now, I do want to turn a little bit more, because if you look at the minimap, I want my nose to be pointing ahead of them, so my torpedoes either have to turn into them or not turn at all. Not turn at all would be ideal, but a small turn into them would be good because it gets a spread along the side of the ship. But it also has a higher chance of them just ricocheting off and not detonating if it's a dud torpedo, or if it's a great enough angle too. Then 4 kilometers, only a 40% solution. So right now it's guaranteeing that only 2 would hit if we're very lucky at a 1 degree spread. We want to try and get that maximized to at least 2 for sure, a 50% solution. Now, how I would do this is I'd target 2, get a maximum solution I can get, fire at the last second, and then target the tone and fire my remaining. I usually do 3 and 3. But it looks like she's speeding up. No, she just has a constant speed of 22. Looked like she was speeding up and turning into me for a second there. Not what we go down to 1 knot. After we're gonna go dead stop. We're gonna stop moving. This will also help our solution percentage. Sub 3.5 kilometers now. I do have this all in metric because metric is better. Fight me on that in the comments. I don't care. As soon as we get a 50 to 52 wavering solution, 50% to 52%. Right now it's just bouncing between 44 and 46, which might be the best it will get. We'll go ahead and fire. And actually, it's looking like the 44, 46% solution is going to be the best we're going to get. If any of them do miss, there's a good chance they'll hit one of the two ships on the secondary line, which is a issue that you have to worry about when you're in a 2-column like this. We're going to... Oh, it jumped up to a 46, 48. We might be able to get a 50% solution here. Be a little more patient. Sub 3 kilometers now. If I can get it to bounce between 48 and 50, we'll take it. Sub 2.5. There's the 50%. Alright, we're firing. Fire. Down scope. Set nav course for this way. Set depth to 90 meters. We're going to jump over to the tone before we lose track on that. And we can see our torpedoes on the map now, which is really fucking nice. As well as in the water over here. Eventually, we're also going to increase speed to 6 knots to prevent cavitation. Torpedoes are moving through the water. We can't quite see them. Oh, there they are. And hide the HUD. Accelerate time as they close in a little bit. There they are. You can just barely make them out over there. Change the angle just a little. I'm hoping for at least 2 good hits. If I can get 2 torps to detonate, because I did a really narrow spread. 2 torps to detonate should deal a decent amount of damage to the tone. If we can get 3 or more, I'd be even happier. Here they come. They're not going to deal damage along a large portion of the ship. They're going to be pretty focused to our torpedo belt. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, all 4 hit and all 4 detonated. That is a huge fire and a lot of damage to the tone. We're going to make like a fucking lunatic and just get the fuck out of here. We can check really quick too. Oop, nope, report. The tone has critical flooding and heavy damage. We're going to try and wait this out and hope that the tone sinks. I already started a retreat timer. So long as they don't actively engage me, we should be golden. We do need to worry about these 2 destroyers though, because they're going to come try and hunt us down. Secondary explosion on board the tone. Watch this baby burn. There she goes. The tone is sinking. Alright, with the tone sinking, and with our retreat timer going, and no munitions in the water, we can press time and get the fuck out of here before they even have a chance. Actually, they might run into each other. Doesn't look like it. When they run into each other, they do cause damage. They will damage each other. Get another good look at this tone really quick. Slips below the waves. 1 of 2 down. And we will encounter another one. Back to Growler before she gets engaged and go ahead and leave combat. That is a 11,230 tons sunk, and this is how we get command points. By sinking enemy ships. They just gained 15 command points, sunk 11,000 tons. That is a big, heavy hitter out of the fight. For good. With that first service engagement done, though, that's going to wrap up episode 1. 50 minutes. 50 minutes of the opening phase of the Battle of Guadalcanal. I guess it's Operation Watchtower. No, that's Japan. I'm getting everything confused. I'm going to stop the recording here, go grab a quick drink because throat's getting dry, and I'll see you guys in episode 2. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if I miss anything, be sure to let me know in the comments. If I screw anything up, again, be sure to let me know in the comments. If you're liking it and you're enjoying it, let me know. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.